In this session, I'm going to show you how to write a number in standard form, and we're also going to explore how we can actually divide two numbers which are written in standard form, and how to multiply two numbers which are, once again, written in standard form. So before we actually look at conversion of numbers in standard form, we need to understand what is a number which is written in standard form. So how does it look like? So basically it looks like a number multiplied to 10 to a given power n, where n can be positive, but it can also be negative. Right? So n can be both positive and negative. Alright? However, there's a restriction with the value of a. A should be between 0 and 1. Okay? A has to be between 0 and 1, and A has to be between 0 and 10. Okay? It should not be a number which is more than 10. So we always try to manipulate in such a way that we get a number which is between 0 and 10 as the value of a. Alright? So we're going to look at the first number, which is 4,000. So 4,000, when we look at the number itself, one thing we need to realize is that the decimal point is always at the end of the number. So the decimal point is here, okay, after the 0. So if I need to actually find a number which is between 0 and 10, I actually need to move this decimal point. So here I need to move it 1, 2, 3. I need to move it 3 places so that the decimal point is now after the 4, so that it becomes 4. Then it becomes 4 times 10 to the power of 3, because you actually moved 1, 2, 3, 3 decimal places. For the second one also, it's the same. The decimal point is here. And I need to move 1 and 2. So if I'm moving 2 places, the dot is now between the 3 and the 5. So it's 3.50 times 10 to the power of 2, because you moved 2 decimal places. Alright? So if we're moving to the left, maybe I can write a note here. So when we move to the left, it's a positive index. Alright? By index I mean 10 to the given power, so the n is positive. If I move to the right, alright, then it's a negative index. It's a negative index, so the 10 to the power is actually a negative number, and we're actually going to observe it here. So here the decimal point is where my pointer is right now. So we move 1, 2, 3. I'm moving 1, 2, 3, but still between 0 and 2, so I need to move it once more. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, so that now we get the number 2. So it's 2 times 10 to the power of minus 4, because we moved 4 decimal places. But we moved to the right, that's why it's a negative index, that's why it's minus 4. And for this one, the dot is here, so I move 1, 2, 3. 3 to the left-hand side, so it's 4.562 times 10 to the power of negative 3, because 1, 2, 3, we move 3 places. Okay, so that's how we work with the decimal number. And then if we're moving to the left, it becomes a positive index. If we're moving to the right, it's a negative index. Now, what about further calculations whereby we're dividing two numbers in standard form? What we do is we first focus on the numbers. So if I divide 8 by 2, so the 2 goes into 8 4 times. So you have 4 times. And then here, you have 10 power 4 divided by 10 power 2. So you have the same base and you're dividing. And this actually should remind you of indices, whereby a power m divided by a power n becomes a to the power m minus n. So if you have the same base and you're dividing, you subtract the powers. In the same way you have the multiplication rule, whereby same base you're multiplying, and what do? You add the powers. So here it's going to be times 10 to the power of, since you're dividing, you're going to subtract the powers. 4 minus 2 is 2. And for the last one, once again, we first focus on the numbers. So I multiply 16 to the 2, which is 32, times 10 to the power of. You're multiplying same base, you add the powers. 3 plus 2 is 5. However, this is not yet in the index form because the a should be a number between 0 and 10, and it's 32. Now 32, I can write it as 3.2 times 10. Okay, because 3.2 times 10 gives me 32, because when you multiply by 10, you move the decimal point. So I first write 32 as 3.2 times 10 power 1. Then now I have a number which is between 0 and 10. So I keep it 3.2. And then I work with the 10, with a base of 10. So it's 10 power 1 times 10 power 5, which becomes 10 power 6. Because you're multiplying same base, you add the powers. Okay, so I think in this session we were able to cover the basics of understanding standard form and taking a number and writing in standard form, which we covered in the first 3 examples. And in the last 2, we explored the multiplication rule and the division rule, which are very important when it comes to actually simplifying.